What's up, guys? Today we're going over the Gjallarhorn once again because the Wolfpack rounds on the Gjallarhorn and other rockets once they receive the Pack Hunter buff aren't as good versus bosses as we thought before. So we're going to be going over exactly what is going on and going over a few new DPS numbers comparing it to the Sleeper. So looking at damage on Carl, who is a major, the damage is what I've showed off in my previous videos. There's going to be 8 Wolfpack rounds per rocket. So the rocket is doing a total of 71.5, and the Wolfpacks were doing 60,720 on Carl for a total of 132,000. And that is still 100% true versus majors. But just like the Eyes of Tomorrow or the Coil, this rocket has been fine-tuned to do less damage versus bosses. And the part of the rocket doing less damage is the Wolfpack rounds. And the base rocket is doing the exact same damage, and as you see, the numbers of the impacting explosions of Wolfpacks are quite a bit lower than they were on the major, and on the boss they're only hitting 20,864, which is going to be roughly 2/3 less damage for the Wolfpack rounds at exactly 65.6% less damage. And this is going to be for every boss in the game. So correcting some of the numbers I've shown so far this DLC, the Gjallarhorn DPS for 2 is still really high at 143. Then at 4, once you have to reload, it drops off quite a bit to 77,000. So as you see, rockets are still extremely good for burst, but their sustain isn't as high as we thought. But someone like Lasting Impression plus Overflow on the Hezens is still extremely good at over 200,000 bursts and still really good for sustain. And the total damage output of rockets, depending on what reserve perks you have, is going to be between 646,000 to 1.2 million, which is still very good, but not quite as good as we thought. Then we throw up the Clown Cartridge DPS numbers with Wolfpacks. As you see, the burst starts off really high, but once you have to start reloading, it drops off quite a bit, all the way down to 70,000 over your entire reserves. And we compare that to Sleeper right now. As you see, once you get past 4 rockets, Sleeper is better for sustained DPS. And not to mention, Sleeper will do a total of 1.8 million damage, which is way higher than any of the rockets in the game, even someone like Field Prep plus Lasting Impression. So Sleeper is definitely better for those longer boss fights in the dungeon and raids. But to be fair to rockets, the only reason Sleeper and other fusions and linears are good this season is because particle deconstruction, which is going to be a 40% debuff only for those 2 weapon types. So if we really look at DPS numbers without this in the game, you see the Sleeper falls off quite a bit and is way lower than the rockets once again. So once the season's over, if there's no artifact mod that is like particle deconstruction or breach and clear, I think we're definitely in store for a heavy rocket meta. Because if you look at the numbers of most other heavies in the game, they're pretty similar to Sleeper, if not even lower. So overall, I think rockets are going to be quite a bit higher than everything else once they're all on the same level playing field with no artifact mods on. So it just depends if there's an artifact mod like that next season, or if there's any buffs or nerfs. But as far as I can tell right now, I definitely think we're in store for a rocket meta in Witch Queen, unless there are one of those changes. And yeah, I just want to say that is my bad. I should have honestly known better. This is not the first time a exotic rocket was fine-tuned versus bosses, so I definitely should have made sure to double check that, and that's definitely on me. So overall for this season, Sleeper seems to have the slight edge over rockets for those longer boss fights. Rockets are still obviously extremely good and will be better for those shorter boss fights, for example strikes or anything below that. Anyways, I think that's gonna be it for the video. Like usual, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.